I'm now joined by 4 people here with me, and that will hopefully benefit from the use of this facility. A fabulous facility, and these players, have all been involved and are currently involved with county squads. I'll introduce them first of all. On my right hand side, representing Westmeath LGFA senior football team, Tracy Dillon. Closest to me on my right hand side, representing the Westmeath hurling senior hurling team, Peter Clark. On my left hand side, Murren Scally representing the Westmeath Camogie team, and on my furthest left, all the way from Castlelady, Larkin Dolan representing the Westmeath senior football team. Lads, you're the guys that hopefully will benefit from the use of this beautiful facility that is planned, and it is a fabulous plan, and it will be brilliant when we see it come to fruition. But for all of you guys at the moment, can you let our viewers know the difficulties that you have getting training and when you know where you're going to be training and stuff like that? Tracy, I'll start with yourself over there.
So at the minute we're really struggling to get pitches. We're kind of fighting with each other to see where we can go and what we can get, and sometimes we're actually not being let know until maybe 2 hours before the session is due to start. Like you could be booked in somewhere and we cancel at your last minute, and then you have to ship off somewhere else, which makes it very difficult and hard to manage things, especially coming from work or different places. It's not easy at the moment.
Peter, I know you have something similar with the senior hurling team. A lot of the time I know you travel to Dublin for some of your training sessions. So, can you give the viewers an idea of what it's like, or when your week starts, or do you have any idea where you are? We say starting this week, where have you trained and where are you going to be training?
Yeah, well, this week we're lucky enough we're in Cowcan there on Tuesday night, which is a great facility. But yeah, Thursday everyone's back up to power early, probably leaving work half an hour early, trying to get to Dublin for training up at Sound, which is really not ideal. When you're, I suppose we're all amateurs trying to hold down a job, and every week, every Thursday evening heading up to Abbottstown just to get lights and to have a decent session. Otherwise you'd be like Tracy, trying to find some pitch in Westmeath that, in all honesty, wouldn't have the facilities that, a really the inter-county team trying to perform at the top level needs.
Murren, I'm sure the Camogie are no different. Tell us a little bit about your story. How do you manage from week to week?
Yeah, well, at the minute all our training sessions have been on the small Astro pitches, and when it kind of comes to game day and you're going out against teams that are playing on full-size grass pitches, you're straight away at a disadvantage compared to them. So it is really hard, and look, we all know it's great to have the facilities that we have, but it's not good enough for what we need, and it's not there to kind of promote and develop the sports. So it's tough. It's really tough, and that kind of not knowing where training is from day to day and hour to hour. Every week it's a different time, and every week it's a different place. So that's hard to schedule and plan around as well.
Larkin, senior footballers, quite sure no different than what the 3 stories we've heard here as well.
No different at all. Just with all the codes, it's the exact same from what I'm seeing and what I'm hearing. I suppose with ourselves, very similar to everyone else, we're at the discretion of the clubs. If it wasn't for clubs being very good to us and giving up facilities, we'd have nowhere to be. We'd be nearly like the hurlers, we'd have to go up to Dublin. Times last year it was going to come out, we were going to train outside the county because there was nowhere available. So it's just down to the clubs, I suppose. There's no base there for us, there's no base for any Westmeath team. So it's frustrating player wise, it's frustrating management wise, I'm sure. It's just fairly annoying.
Lads, am I right in saying that as you are at the minute, you're almost fighting with one hand tied behind your back?
Yeah, absolutely.
Completely.
Definitely. And as Lorcan said, we're going outside the county. I know last year, I think a good few of our sessions were either in Offaly or in different places, and it's just crazy that we're having to go to that extent.
You mean, go ahead,
on the other hand, I suppose if you were to compare the performance to facilities, 4 teams have completely outperformed. I suppose the structure, the support from facilities wise, I know it's not a quick fix, but if you went to any other county, just take Offaly for example, they got their house in line with Faithful Fields in Kilcormac. See what it's doing now for them. They went through their barren spell, but built on that. Their footballers are starting to rise again. Their hurlers are starting to fly. Same ladies side for the rugby and the football. Like, they've had success recently, so it's just you need that base to start off, I suppose.
Just on that as well, like it costs to take pitches off clubs as well.
Yeah.
So it's taking money from the possibility of progression and development, whether it's from underage teams up or whether it's for the I suppose the funds that you have there for your senior teams as well. So like there's a huge knock-on effect. It's not just pitches, it's the whole way through.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, like we know, the cost factor is a huge issue because, and every time I'm sure managers are going looking for anything, it's a money issue and stuff like that. I think, even Larkin, you mentioned the Faithful Fields, and I suppose they're probably the one that we're comparing ourselves against, but they can go in there, they know tonight you're training, on the Faithful Fields, we know whoever's doing food can come in there beside you, they have a gym facility, you're not going and another night to somewhere else and you're not, stuff like that. So it must be so destroying for you guys, where you're really making the most of what you can get.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you mentioned, like to be able to do all that in the one place will be absolutely unreal. Like you have people who are possibly injured or not able to do a pitch session and having then to travel somewhere else to use the gym, or whatever. Like it's putting huge pressure on players.
And clubs probably don't have the same facilities, so like you mentioned the Faithful Fields, like that they'd have, we'd all be in the same dressing room, like going into a club setup where you're probably management, players, physios are all probably sharing the one dressing room, and you've maybe 40 players on a senior panel. Like it's not really ideal even that way, that the physios can't even probably perform to their level, and it's just probably hard on everyone.
It is. And it's not against the clubs. Like, you look at the standard club facilities in Westmeath, they're actually brilliant.
Yeah, they're very good.
Definitely.
Absolutely brilliant, and they have teams to look after as well, but it's very hard on them. County team comes in, does a bit of a job on a pitch this time of year, and then rides off into the sunset, and I know clubs have found it hard to get payment for pitches. That's another issue altogether, but then they don't want to see it back, and that's just adding to the problem. So I'm sure you think the same, but that's what we have here. Thanks lads, but you're not welcome anymore.
Yeah, like the reality of it is you guys start training from probably December. You're back on the field at that stage. Ground conditions are at their worst. And we look then at, we're going to keep referring to the Faithful Fields because I suppose it's the one that we see closer. But you go over there and you look at 4 or 5 pitches that are absolutely like billiard tables. And being well-minded, and that would be the hope that what we would have here in Mullingar at the time when we get our centre up, that we have those quality, properly lit, properly drained, can be used all year round. The use of an Astor pitch as well, a 5G pitch on it as well. Like it's, at this stage for us here, I think anyone that's after been playing or been involved, it's almost like a dream that we would ever see it.
Yeah, completely.
No, it's a great idea, great plan. It looks great on paper, but hard train on paper as well. So hopefully it does come in, because I know you've Faithful Fields, you've Leash as well there by O'Moore Park. Again, with 4 pitches, it's brilliant. Like
Dunganny as well.
Dunganny and me, like they're all very near.
Yeah.
We're building one as well, so like I know we're going to be late to the party, but it will be brilliant.
Yeah. Lads, we've spoken about the downside of not having a centre of excellence, but we're going to fast forward this thing now 3-5 years down the line. Ray Gavin was a lucky winner of the home in Spain. He is retired out there, he's enjoying life out there, has a nice suntan. Now you guys tell me, what would it be like for you back here, but you have your own centre of excellence? What would it mean to you guys in the groups that are involved?
I suppose it'd be brilliant. Like I'd probably be finished at that stage, I'd say. Desperate times if I kept going, but I suppose then I'm looking at our panel now. We've an awful lot of young players back in, like starting out. It's a huge jump, and I'm sure the rest of you all agree. It's a huge jump to go from a minor under 20 up to a senior panel. Physicality wise, experience, everything like that. Having a development centre where, I think it'd be great if you had your 20s training beside your seniors. Maybe bring a few of them in, kind of as training goes on, get them used to the setup. Obviously you could have a gym there. The physical development is huge nowadays, and like that trickles down to under 14s. That's when that all starts. I think it's just brilliant. Like it would just bring Westmeath up levels that it probably hasn't been given a chance to get to before, I suppose.
Yeah, Absolutely, it's really exciting, the thought of it, and to think to have a base like that. You know, you have the facilities where you can do this, and for the younger kids and the younger generations, like even under 12s, under 14s, like to have an area where they can run blitzes and, you know, love to go to and be able to say, oh yeah, when I'm senior, you know, we'll be playing our big games in these centre of excellences, like, you know.
Yeah, it'd be brilliant, like, and for even them, like, I suppose kids like under 14, 16, wouldn't it be brilliant for them to see like the Hugh Larkin and like Murray playing, you know, to see them in training, they're like, I suppose, idolising, you know, your top senior players, and you know, like, it, I suppose puts it in front of them that this is what I can do and this is where I can be, and I suppose that's what we all want really, like, for, you know, like for the four codes to be strong.
Creating a dream, I suppose,
creating
in a way,
a dream
like,
and putting it in front of
I
them.
just think a centre of excellence, it gives the county a bit of an identity. You know, that's where you want to go if you want to be a Westmeath player.
I think it also gives kids the idea of that's like that kind of a dream. It keeps them involved, it keeps them interested. They know, right, if I go down there, I'm definitely going to see a county player at 7 o'clock in the evening. It kind of sparks that bit of fire under them. Like when there's so much competition with so many other sports, we're trying to keep kids involved in GAA as much as we can, and it's so important to have that centre there as a hub for everybody to go to know, right, okay, that's GAA and I want to be involved in that, and that's where I can go.
Yeah, like, 'cause we are fighting, let's be honest. You know, we go out to a rugby club and we see fabulous 5G pitches, whatever, you know, and yet we go to a club and we're trying to get into a backfield somewhere. Like, it would be so, you know, look, it's the dream, I think, for every young player. Like, I can imagine going down to a centre of excellence at 14 years of age, and I'm going in and there's a gym. I've never been in a gym before, and there's somebody there that's going to take me and go on a programme and stuff like that. Girls, lads, hurlers, footballers. It would be just so good. And I think, Larkin, you are so right. I think it will really be important for bringing up the standard of both codes.
Definitely, and it brings huge pride as well to the county, like, you know, to be able to say, oh, that's our centre of excellence, like, this is a really high-end facility that we get to use every single day, which is, you know.
Lads, can you imagine the likes of a 14-year-old coming in here and we have a centre of excellence with everything modern? We possibly have a kitchen, maybe a full-time chef cooking for all these squads that are coming in here. Can you imagine the boost that would give? Never mind the whole financial aspect of, you know, saving money and whatever else going further down the line. Just imagine a 15-year-old, you take yourself back to when you were 14, when you were 14 years old, you're after coming in the development squad, whoever was seniors, you didn't see them. So you imagine mixing with those, and you know, you have the medical facilities, we have, you know, a place to sit down, have a cup of coffee, have whatever before you go training. They're going out as you're coming in. You imagine the boost that would give to all our county teams.
It would really give them something to live up to. Like, they see us as role models, but they only see us once a week on a pitch. Like, imagine if they were able to see us every night or every second night of the week, mixing and mingling with us, maybe knowing some of us. Like, in fairness, most of them kind of might know some your own club players on a kind of a personal basis, but getting to know, like, county squads, and even county squads getting to know some of the underage. Like you said it there about transitioning from under 18, under 20s up, like, it just eases that whole path of progression, and it just makes it kind of like a one hub, one club, one hub kind of place for everybody.
Yeah, Peter, you're probably, you know, fair to say you're probably the youngest amongst us here. So you even would have come through, say, the underage system, even at club level, where you would have aspired to come up onto your senior club. Now you imagine taking that out to a county level, and you're looking at all the top players when you were, you know, coming up to 15, 16, next thing is 17, I'm a minor, next thing I'm going to try and break into this. Can you imagine the boost that it would give to every young child coming forward for Westmeath?
That'd be huge, like, it would really make a difference from hurling to football. Like, I know I was playing football, like, lucky enough to be playing football with a senior club like Thursday. You had like a Jamie Canood and Jerry Egan down there, you were probably looking up to them, saying like, I want to be like them. You see them down to pitch training, they can go up to Castle, you had like Niall, you had Angus, Shane Clavin, you had Liam Varley, you were all looking up to them. So imagine like an under 14 coming in and he gets to see, you know, 15 to 20 of, like, you know, people he wants to embody, like, and he goes up, like.
Lads, following on from Peter's point there, you know, we all come from clubs here. We've all started with the under 8s. At this stage I've coached the under 8s and everyone else along with it, but we've come at that level. We remember that. You remember when you were 9, 10 years of age, coming out onto the pitch for training, your adult team were, you were finishing, they were coming out and you're looking up, and I'd love to be Larkin Dole and I'd love to be Murren Scally. Imagine the community, the pride we would get into Westmeath, where everybody sees each other, everyone has these facilities, everyone knows these facilities are for them. Like, it might be a pipe dream at the minute, but lads, this is the reality. This is what will happen if we get this centre of excellence, when we get this centre of excellence up and running.
Yeah, but even with the centre of excellence, I know it's probably designed around the Westmeath base and a county setup, but there's nothing stopping clubs use it as well. So like, the clubs will see the benefit of it, and I suppose just in regards to the younger players, it probably gives them a physical pathway, as in, if I keep my head down here and work away and develop, then look, I can become one of those senior players in whatever 5, 10 years, wherever I have to go to. Like, but even you could open it up to schools, they can go in, use the facilities again, senior county players, give kids a dream. And like, I'm sure if you're looking at parents, far easier drive into a centre of excellence and everything shiny and new and all good, instead of going out to a back pitch in Castlelly where Westmeath have been, or any of the clubs on dark winter nights where it's not an easy trip. Like, you're talking about the facilities, parents could go in, sit down and have a coffee as their children are like, it's not just players, it's everyone like there can have a good experience.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the plan on this is that we will have walking areas around each pitch where mothers or whatever come in, drop the kid off instead of going home and coming back from, you go for a walk, go in and have a coffee. These are all things that I think that we should expect to have at inter-county level.
Yeah. When you look around the country, it's nearly a basic thing in most counties nowadays. I know, like I said earlier, we're late to the party, but it's nearly a requirement at this stage that you have a base just to compete. So look, it'll just give us, I suppose, the chance to continue to compete, I suppose, at the level most of the teams are already at.
Larkin, you say we're late to the party. Yes, we are. This probably should have been done when Celtic Tiger times were good and money was a flush all around the country and whatever like that. But lads, we need to get to the party. Right now, we have an invite in our hand, but we're still a long, long way from it, but we can get there. And it's so important now that we drive this whole thing forward to get there and get our young people, girls, boys, whatever, older people, get them in walking, get them seeing what we can do, buy a coffee. It'll all be funding and all self-funding in down the line. Like, I think we can't think short term in regards to this. We've got to think of the whole future, the generations of hurlers and footballers, boys and girls that are going to come down the line.
But I suppose with the competition, you're probably, I know the tickets are €100, and €100 is a lot of money nowadays, and there's plenty of pressure on people. But I suppose it is short-term pain, long-term gain. Like, you might spend €100 on a ticket here, but in 15-20 years time your child could go through this full system, use this setup, and then all of a sudden you're going to Mullingar on a Sunday to watch your child playing a triumph game. And I don't have any kids, but I'm sure if I did, I'd want the best for them, and seeing them play an inter-county game, that's the top you can play in GAA really. Like, there's nothing else. So you can give your child the chance to get to that, then why wouldn't you really? So,
I think that's a fair comment, lads. I pretty much agree with that one.
Absolutely, and that's why this is so important, because we can think about the benefits and we can see it. It's so close, and while we mightn't be there playing, we will know somebody, or will, the young people in our clubs will be definitely reaping the rewards.
Yeah, and it's going to be there for everyone. That is the thing about it. It will be for the generations come forward. I'm sure when the plans are done and everything is done, I'm sure it'll be improving on and evolving right through the years. And I think of a story that was said to me here recently about the kit van. A kit van for a Westmeath County team compared to a kit van for an Offaly County team. Small van with Offaly because everything is in the centre. Big one for Westmeath because he has to load everything into it and transport it all around the country, all around the county. you know, it's only a small thing, but they're all valid things and they're all so important.
Yeah, absolutely, and there's a huge savings in that as well, as you mentioned, like, you know, when you're putting in huge money into bigger kit fans, or, you know, spending money on other pitches, trying to transport things over and back, like when you do have a base and a facility to store all that stuff, it is long-term saving for the county.
Probably not transporting food as well. Like, I know
Absolutely,
poor old
yeah.
Valerie, like with the hurlers, she's come up to Dublin on a, you know, from like Mullingar or wherever, with, you know, a full van full of food for her lads just so they can eat in Dublin. Like, can you imagine the difference it'd make if all 4 teams were eating together in a, you know, in Mullingar? You know, you're probably making it fairly close to the facility or even on the facility. Like, it'd be brilliant.
But, you know, wouldn't it be a fabulous idea if, you know, the 4 different codes can come together? We have a place to, you know, a chef maybe in the centre preparing food. There's no transporting around the place, food going cold, whatever else, no waste, no nothing. The cost, I'm sure, of you guys renting pitches must be phenomenal. You know, going into clubs, and I think clubs holding you over a bar now, this is because you need so badly to get into. Like, wouldn't we be saving a lot of money if we can get this centre long term? You know, the savings to the organisation. And let's be honest about it, lads, by the time we're up and running, we will have an integrated association. So the savings that can be made on that as well can be phenomenal.
And with those savings then, like, it's time to kind of start investing back in the underage and putting the money back into where I suppose the foundations are always laid. Like, it's so important to not forget about the underage teams and development squads. Like, they are our future teams coming up through the ranks, and they're the teams that are going to reap the most benefits out of this whole project. So like, it's not fair that they are always kind of left with the scraps at the end. Like, if it was that all these savings were being made, and it'd be great to kind of put a bit more time and interest and investment into those kind of stages, I think, as well.
Yeah, for everybody. You know, from, like you say, from your 13, 14-year-olds all the way through to adult. And, like, let's remember, lads, we get a centre of excellence. It's there forever. Thank you all for joining us here on the Iarmhi TV podcast. This podcast, lads, is where we get people in, people that are on the ground, people that are representing the county from whatever levels. You are the cream of what we have on the field at the moment. We're so proud of you, and I think the county board is only right that they're aspiring to get this facility up and running for you guys to benefit from it. Never mind the squads to come.